Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for people who know that size doesn't matter. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler.
Tyler, what did we watch?
We watched Star Wars Episode 5, the second movie, the seventh release
I don't know.
movie?
Yeah, seventh.
Seventh movie chronologically. Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back.
The
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire,
Or as most people just call it, Empire.
Empire. Which is confusing because now there's a TV show called Empire. And it's very similar to this.
What about Empire Flooring?
With the commercial?
Yes.
Call Empire today.
Yeah.
That guy?
288, call Empire today. But it's a dude putting down floors while they're doing it. Would you call Empire today?
No.
What? You need Empire right now. You do.
I refuse. I'm just going to let the problem get worse until I buckle and call anyone other than Empire.
No. Here's the mistake I made. I left the Red Bull so far away from me.
No.
Do you see it?
Use the Force and summon it to yourself. Fun fact. This. Oh, no. Oh, wait. It's not open.
It's not open.
Okay, I was like asking it. The scene in this movie where Luke has to grab his lightsaber, that's just him throwing the lightsaber into the snow and then reversing the footage. Isn't that fun?
Oh.
But they made it look so good because they make it twitch. You know, it's like, is it going to go? It's not going to go there. And it looks so real. It's because it's backwards. Tyler, would you like to sum up this movie for us?
This is a tale. Tale as old as time.
Oh, no.
A song as old as rhyme.
Beauty and the Beast.
No, it's Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
It's
all the same company now.
Yeah, it is. It's all Fox. No, wait, Disney bought them.
Fox is dead to us now.
Now it's 20th
It's
century.
20th century.
Nothing. It's
Nothing.
just
20th century.
Just 20th century.
Have you ever seen a rebrand just like strip someone of their own identity in a like they didn't come up with a new name. They were just like drop the Fox and it just sounds wrong now.
Does it though? Because I have not noticed the Fox missing in one single 20th century movie opening.
I've missed it every time.
I never notice it
Every time.
because I'm an adult and I don't cling to the past. I move on. I focus on where I am and what I'm doing.
Just like Luke Skywalker should have done.
Yeah. So there's a movie about space wizards continuing to battle the evil space wizards. And the scoundrels that tag along for the ride.
Yeah, they do. Tyler, this episode 4, it came from behind and it took you. And it took you by surprise and it pleased you.
Yeah.
How did this one go for you?
I'm always shocked that so many people like this one so much more than the first one. Because I think Star Wars is a better movie because this is the middle of a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Which always seems to be the weak point in a trilogy, right?
Yeah, it's a hard.
But everybody's like, but it's the
right.
best one. And I'm like, why? Because it's got a better lightsaber duel? Is that, what else is there?
I don't know. It is hard. You're right. The middle movie's always the hardest one to do. Because everything's just, it's sort of like when you make a 2-part movie, the first movie always ends weird. And it's like, well, that was bad, just because the ending in this one, it's in the middle, it's sandwiched in there. I don't know. I think the plot arc of A New Hope is a little awkward because it's sort of like, oh, you go to space. And I don't know. It's not like there's no clear arc. It's kind of like, oh, the movie's wrapping up. Oh, Now we got to destroy the Death Star. All right, I guess that's the end. All right, let's do. We kind of stumble upon the ending. This one, I feel like the arc works a little better. I think the characters are a little better developed, and they've got good chemistry going. I don't know. I do think I like this one better than A New Hope, but I think they're a lot closer in my mind than I thought they were. Because I was like, New Hope is good, but it's a little hokey. Empire's the best one. And 6 never lives up to anyone's expectations. We'll see. I think this one's still my favorite, but I do think it's a lot closer than I remember.
Yeah.
I like it a little better than A New Hope. A New Hope is great.
So good.
So good. The problem with A New Hope, I'm just going to say it. Well, that's one thing. I noticed like nothing in this movie is in terms of like big things they changed.
Whenever they did the trailer, because do you remember when they did like I think it was when they did the VHS re-release of the special editions, and it was like a big deal that they'd up-res them to like 480p at that time, which was like, oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember seeing the trailers for it and all the commercials and everything?
I don't know if I remember
how they digitally remastered it.
Oh yeah,
they always showed stuff from this movie, never from the others. Always, especially like the Hoth fight in the speeders.
Yeah,
that was what it was always been like. Look how much better it is.
I think, yeah. I hear. Yeah, I mean, this one did look really great. I mean, A New Hope looked great too, but it was just there were so many things they like threw in there, and you were like, well, this is just distracting now. There was so much there. I didn't notice really anything in this one. I was like, oh, this looks like. Yeah, I don't see what they did change except for maybe one or two things.
Yeah, there's like one thing that they added, some pretty obvious CG.
But there was nothing where it's just like, oh yeah, no, that dude is now a giant CG version of that dude. Or like, you see that guy that's actually there? We added in another CG dude right next to him,
Yeah. Which, two things I want to cover that you learned after we finished the last episode. All right. First was the original Jabba the Hutt.
I forgot. I meant to do some research on that, and I was going to go and look at the cut I have on Plex from my Hollywood friend.
Yeah.
And then my internet went down, and I couldn't access Plex at all. So
do we need to pause right now and check that cut?
No.
How easy is it to check Plex?
Not super easy.
Oh.
Plex
is a nightmare.
It giveth and it taketh away, and it can be very hard to navigate. I think it's easier on the TV to navigate, whereas on the phone, it's like, here's all the music you have on Plex. It's like, well, no, I'm in it for the movies right now. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So
it's the worst.
I will do it someday.
I mean, we can pause. I can throw the original scene. That's on YouTube. I got it right here. I can throw it on TV. You can see it. Or I could just mute the TV.
You just want to live react to it?
I'm gonna live react to it. Do I need to mute it? Do I even need to mute it? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Fine then, you coward. No. It just started going. It was
wow. Here it is. Lucas claims he intended to mat on a stop motion character later on. Oh, the scene was dropped. Oh, so okay.
So this one.
So the scene was dropped. It wasn't in the original movie.
I think so. I think they just didn't have it at all. Like you can see the lens is all jacked up.
Yeah, and so when they re-released it, he's like, "Hey, this is a chance for me to reuse the scene, and I'll just slap in Jabba the Hutt the way I wanted."
Yeah, an awful CG version instead of like a stop motion better version.
Yeah.
But like, so it went through multiple stages. It started out where he was just going to be just this guy. And then Lucas was like, well, the Hutts are like supposed to be like slugs. So it can't just be a guy. So we got to do the thing. And then they're like, well, okay, now do this and that. And then we got to where in the next movie, in the final movie, you get the, him messing about with the giant puppet thing.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 people are inside of it, and they're like, it was 150 degrees and there was no ventilation in there.
Wow. What a world we live in.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I want. I want to cut a Star Wars, but it's all the aliens just dudes.
Just guys.
Just guys.
I mean, you watch Flash Gordon.
Oh yeah, I've seen Flash Gordon.
I'll tell you, I was reading through some facts and I found like some original, like they're like, oh, originally this is how this was going to go through. And it's like, you can really see how George Lucas is like, I love Flash Gordon. We're making it. And then other people came in, they're like, all right, George, that's all the time you had. You head on home and we're going to take it from here.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon sucks and we're going to fix everything.
Yeah, Flash Gordon's a weird one. But Queen does a song for the movie, the 80s movie. So
a Flash Gordon, a big budget Hollywood Flash Gordon movie came out the same year as this movie.
Oh, that was the Flash Gordon movie?
Yeah, it
With
came
the
out
Queen
in
song?
Yep, in 1980.
Flash.
Same universe.
Impossible. Yeah, it's so good.
So I showed that to Tiffany and she's like, I mean, I like it. I was like, but it came out the same year as Star Wars 5. Like it was like, this is it. We're doing it. And it had already been so far surpassed. I also showed her Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which came out the same year as Star Wars. And I was like, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, good buddies. This is what Steve, S, double S as we call him, was working on while Lucas was making the Star Wars.
Yeah.
And she thought it looked very good. And I was like, because it does look very good.
I haven't seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's my greatest shame. I know.
Neither have I, but I've seen a lot of clips of it and it looks amazing. And it looks like it was made this century.
Spielberg makes things that look good.
It looks so good. It looks too good. It looks suspiciously good. Looks like it was made by aliens.
Oh, is S squared an alien? Is that the secret?
He doesn't like to be called S squared.
Oh, he just S double S?
Double S.
Double S. So does that mean we can dive on in? Because there's a lot to say. And there's not a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, we can just get on into it. Do you want to go first then, since you've got so much to say?
I'll go first, and I'll try to go fast. I'll go both first and fast. I'll go first, and I'll try to go fast.
I got the whole timer right here. Ready?
Han, old buddy. That's what Luke says. His first line in this movie is, "Hey, Han, old buddy." And it's just Luke, they do him dirty. They do him dirty for so many reasons. Number one, they make him sound like a dorky uncle. Number two, he has to look next to Harrison Ford the whole time and makes him look worse. Number three, he gets cuckolded in this movie. Number four, they put him in a big old diaper in a wet tube. And it just, poor guy. I feel so bad. But it's okay because he does headstands and handstands and swings on branches and becomes a Tarzan man and he gets some muscles. And so it's okay. It's going to be all right. We did it. Yoda didn't train Obi-Wan. I mean, I know that Yoda trains everyone because he's at the academy, but his sensei was Qui-Gon Jinn, and why are we going to retcon it? I want to dub it back in. I want to look, if we're going to fix these movies, we got to go back and be like, I trained Qui-Gon trained him. I'm sort of like, well, you know what I'm saying? It's rude. It's rude to Qui-Gon. The soul of Liam Neeson would be turning out. Liam Neeson is going to flip his lid when he realizes he's not in these movies. All right. That's what I'm saying about that. Okay. Rogue 2's in this movie. So what about Rogue One? Rogue Leader? Rogue 2? Rogue One? Is it a coincidence? Yes, it is just a coincidence. Nailed it. Oh, we already talked about the big wet diaper. That's fun. Princess Leia's a hoe. So that's great. I'm sorry. I know it's derogatory, but she out here, she kissing Luke just to make Han jealous. All right. She doesn't, and look, he doesn't know any better. He's like, this is a real kiss, and no one's there to tell him. That's not the case. But I do like the love triangle. I think you got a trilogy, you got to get the love triangle in there and get some intrigue going. It's good. Chewie is so much cuddlier than I remember. Original trilogy, Han's petting him. He gives Luke a little hug. Look, he's a cuddly boy. And then all of a sudden in the sequels, it's like, don't look him in the eyes. Don't look him in the eyes. He'll eat you. All right. He's done it before. That's what I don't understand. Look, if you got to take down a big old walker, whatever they call it, ATA, whatever it's called, come from the side. The gun is on the head and they're coming head on, come from behind, come from the side. What are they doing? What? They're all facing the same way and they all come straight at him. What are they? They're bad. I should be. Look, if Princess Leia, who is a hoe, we've established it, is qualified to be commanding the rebellion, I should be able to qualify. I won't kiss nobody. I'll kiss 0 people. I will lead nobody on. And I will tell people to come from the side when it's time to come from the side. Thank you. I will accept this medal and I will give it to Chewbacca because he deserves it. Nobody cares about probabilities. And C-3PO is like, look, I know you've all told me not to give you probabilities, but I'm going to give you one. When they told him to be quiet and when they turned him off later, I was like, they're out here roasting 3PO and it's exactly what we should have been doing. It made me so happy. And then they let him squawk again the last 30 minutes. I'm like, what? Turn that boy off. We all know no one wants to talk to him. Okay. He's a cock blocker. All right. He comes in the kiss. He's like, look, I did a great job. And Han's like, yeah, what? You know what I'm saying? It's like his whole job is human cyborg relations. And he specifically says multiple times, I don't understand people. It's like your job is to understand people. So get with it. He doesn't get along with R2-D2. He's always telling everyone what to do, telling them information they don't want it. He's a bad protocol droid. He's bad. We have disassembled him and turned him off and shut him down and wiped his memory so many. He keeps coming back. He cannot die. What happened? Why can't we stop? He needs to be stopped, okay? Instead of Emperor Palpatine, it should have been 3PO the whole time, all right? He should have been the Sith Lord. I truly believe this, all right? It's only dawning on me now how similar the layout of this trilogy is to the sequel trilogy, where you're like, oh, we got the 3 people and they're together in the first movie and then we break them up and then they come back together. It's like, all right, I get it, but it's whatever. The chemistry is good, okay? The performances and the actors are good. And I think that's what the strength of this movie, okay? We're getting the dynamic, we're getting the banter going, and I think that's the heart of this movie. But the real heart of this movie is Yoda. Yoda's here, he's a baller, okay? He's out here and you think, oh, this boy doesn't know what he's talking about. But at the same time, Luke's letting him ruffle through all his stuff. He's like, I won't say anything. Look, he's like, I've been Yoda the whole time, idiot. Okay. Right on your back and let me whisper things into your ears. And you have to do, that's how everyone should be trained for everything. Okay. If you're at work, you got to learn a new thing. Your trainer, get them on your back and I'll whisper in your ear and I'll tell you like, hey, if you're, look, whatever, tell me everything.
Oh, I'm going to have to cut you off right there, Cody. Oh, yeah. Can't even do it anymore. Just stop talking. You jumped right in. We didn't even get in the speeder and go to Spoiler Town yet. You're a crazy person, Cody. You went. Get in.
You can't stop
get
me.
In, you psycho.
You can't
get
stop
in
me.
The speeder and let's go.
I will run alongside the speeder.
Get in the weird backwards gunner seat. It's just like the backwards seat in the back of your grandma's station wagon.
You hop on my back and I will swing us on a vine into Spoiler Town. All right. That's what we're doing. Oh. All right, what do you got to say? You got something to say about it?
Oh, you want? Cody, I got so many things to say. First off, you took my thing. I was gonna say that Leia's a hoe. It's not only is she kissing him just to make Han jealous. She kisses him when she gets a forehead kiss from Han. They're kissing, they're loving on each other, and then when nobody's around and Luke is helpless and dying, plants one right on him. Right. She's taking advantage of the sweet boy. Let's take a second to realize 3PO was built by a 9-year-old slave boy. All right. So he did not have the best parts. Also, they wiped his mind so that he wouldn't tell Luke that look me in the eye. Do you think for 1 second that he could have the first words out of his mouth to Luke Skywalker would not have been, Darth Vader's your father? That would have been the first thing he said. Of course, they got to wipe his mind. R2-D2 is sitting here knowing all of this historical stuff, knowing everything, knowing how everything came to be, everything that was, everything that will be. It's all inside R2's brain. And he is having to deal with 3PO. All right. It went from, this is my buddy, we're a team, to I'm keeping you alive for nostalgia's sake. All right. That's all he's doing. Okay. is a 9-year-old built in. Leia, which they call her Leia in the very beginning. Again, who calls her Leia? Harrison Ford, aka Han Solo, calls her Leia, and it drove me nuts. It's Leia and it's Han. The Han thing is one thing when it's Lando Calrissian. He says Han. That's the thing. They even make jokes about it in Solo. All right, hey Han, it's Han. All right, Han. All right, and they move on. All right, it's become a thing. But he gets 3PO saying Han, and I will not stand for that. All right, he deserved what he got. Okay. Everybody's like, what? Yoda, he's so wise. He's 900 years old. He trained him. Also, you're a fool, Cody. Yoda didn't train Qui-Gon. Count Dooku trained Qui-Gon Jinn. That was his master, his sensei, Count Dooku. You know, the Jedi who's like, hey, what's in that room? They're like, all the Sith stuff. What do you got to do to be in there? Be a Jedi master. Okay. Second he gets to be a Jedi master, I want to go in that room. All right. I'm leaving the Jedi now. And everybody's like, you seem like a cool guy. All right. That nobody saw anything wrong with that. Also, Jar Jar is the head of the Sith, and you'll never change my mind on that. Okay. Qui-Gon was trained by Count Dooku, who was trained by somebody else. Yoda hasn't trained nobody on nothing. He gets them to the point where they get got by another guy, a cool guy out in the field, and then Yoda's like, deuces, I'm going to sleep in a comfortable bed tonight. You guys can go sleep in the turds in a barn in the middle of nowhere on the planet whatever, all right? Because some border dispute over trade negotiations broke down. I ain't doing that. He's an old man. He ain't about that life. Everybody's like, he's so old and wise. Why is he crazy dude ruffling through stuff? I would like to point you to your great-grandfather, who was probably a wise person, who did some cool stuff, who's a great guy. But you try to talk to him about anything, that man's probably an insane person. You know, they're old. They don't care. Wait, what are you going to do? Kill them? All you got to do is wait 5 minutes. They might be gone, and they know it. They don't care about anything. They fear nothing. So they do whatever they want. And that's what Yoda's out there doing. He's living his best life. All right. He's out there slurping up the energy of the universe, living on Dagobah, subsisting off of, you know, whatever he can find that falls out of the back of an animal bigger than him. And he's there and he's loving it. He's living his best life. He's communing with nature. The only person he's had to talk to for the last, 20, 30 years is Qui-Gon, who's a ghost that seems to not be around ever. Okay. And then like 2 weeks ago, Obi-Wan showed up. And Obi-Wan, he won't shut up as a ghost. Okay. Nobody. And then he's there all the time. And then he's like, I can't do anything. According to who? They established in the prequels, Qui-Gon invented this thing. There's no council of ghost wizards that are going to stop you from doing anything. Force choke the Emperor to death as a ghost. What's he gonna do? Force choke you back? Absorb you? No, he's gonna do nothing. He doesn't even know you're there. He doesn't even know you can do this. Just kill him. Take him over. Become the Emperor. Conquer the universe. Do whatever you want.
Tyler, I'm gonna have to cut you off. Look, you don't understand the Jedi way. You can't attack anyone as a Jedi, okay?
Look, BS.
Obi-Wan,
Qui-Gon Jinn we're talking about.
Obi-Wan said, I won't. He's like, I don't want to use my powers to help you because you're a brat, Luke. We're telling you don't go. And so if you go, I'm not going to help you like a good parent. You know, when someone's like, I'm going to do this terrible thing that's against your advice, the parents are like, all right, go do that. I will not help you while you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like a good person, you cut him off and you leave him to die.
I know what you're saying.
Like a good father.
I know what you're saying. I'm saying what. There's other shows like, okay, you know me. I've mentioned it before. I watched all of Stargate a billion times at this point, right?
Yeah.
And there's space wizard ghost people, and they're like, we can't do anything. And they're like, why? And it's like, well, because the group of people, they all got together and decided we can't interfere with the mortals. We got to let them do their own thing. And if you try, the rest of them stop you. This is like, of the two of us here, I'm telling you, I'm not going to do anything. It's like, what, is Qui-Gon going to stop you? No. I think Obi-Wan murdered Qui-Gon's ghost because Qui-Gon was like, let's go kill the Emperor. There's two of us now. He can't stop us. Or here's what I think. Qui-Gon has been messing with the Emperor, driving him nuts. He's been knocking stuff off shelves. He's been opening doors slowly and slightly. He's been basically
like loosening the lid on his coffee.
Exactly. He's been being Boog. The way Boog is driving you slowly insane.
Yeah.
That's what Qui-Gon's been doing to the Emperor for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
He's been weakening him psychically, mentally, cracking him like a ripe egg. Okay. Okay. Also, I made you watch the Scene 38 remake by the visual effects company.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on it.
Looks really good.
It does look very good.
It looks very good. I thought, yeah, no, I mean, it was a great modernization of the battle. I like that they tied in some of the Darth Vader in this movie likes to throw things. So in that scene, they had him throw things, force throw things around, and
it's a very Sith move.
Yeah, it was very good.
They did the thing. They did what I would say is what you should do if you're obviously they didn't do it to the quality you would do it on a full feature movie.
Mm-hmm.
But how they did Obi-Wan's face on the stunt actor in the robe. I would say that's the better way to do it than the way they've been doing Tarkin.
Right. Where they have someone go in and like make every pixel of his face and then it looks worse still because you've digitally recreated something that looks unnatural now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. But I thought it looked good. They did tease in December of 2020 that they're working on a remake of this lightsaber duel.
Really?
In this one.
Wow.
So they've just they got busy with actual, like work for their company.
Yeah, that always happens.
Shout out, if you want to see what they do all those like Peloton commercials and the LG OLED commercials. They do those things. Mm-hmm. All the cool effects and everything. Yeah. So they look good.
Here's the thing about this movie. My problem with the Jedi and the prequels is that they're too bureaucratic. And in this one, Obi-Wan's all here pulling strings, right? Because nobody tells him, hey, by the way, Darth Vader is your father. Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. And even when Darth Vader's talking to Emperor Palpatine, he's like, I think he's Anakin Skywalker's son. And they're like, yeah, he probably is. And you're like, bruh, you are Anakin. Like, I know you're Darth Vader now, but, I understand, like, it was a really good way to help the twist stay intact.
Yeah.
By saying, like, oh, yeah, we're not acknowledging that he's my son, but no, yeah, he is my son, which is good. It helped, it's just, everybody's a liar in this movie, and I hate them, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, which, I mean, even on set, wasn't it? Because I thought it was, he said the line there on set, but I'm thinking back, wasn't it? He said a different line on set, and then James Earl Jones said that I'm your father.
Right. So in the script, it was written, and on the day it was said, Obi-Wan killed your father.
Yeah.
The only people that knew that it was going to be I am your father was George Lucas, the writers, Mark Hamill, and James Earl Jones when he did the voiceover. And even James Earl Jones was like, oh, Darth Vader's just lying. He's trying to pull one over on him, basically. Yeah. So those are the only people that knew. And Mark Hamill, he tells the story a little different than the fact I read, but the way he tells it is like, yeah, George went out to me and was like, hey, I'm going to tell you something. When you know it, it's like the director knows it, the writers know it, and I know it. And when I tell you, you'll know it. So if anyone finds out, we'll know that you were the leak. Like Darth Vader's your father, which basically
I think is the whole reason he told him was, I think it was maybe it was the director. Somebody was like, you should tell him. So that he reacts accurately.
Yeah.
Because he killed your father would have been a different reaction from Luke.
Right.
Than that. So I think that was like the whole reason Mark Hamill even was told was they were like, you need to tell him.
Yeah.
So that he can like actually be like devastated by the news. Because it is the equivalent of like, I don't know. I don't know. What would be the equivalent? Like Hitler telling you I'm your father.
Yeah,
be like, oh gosh.
Right.
Oh, I wanted to, real quick. I had the facts that I ran through for this one. I just want to give it to you real quick. All right. So the movie, obviously, episode 5, is released May 21st, 1990, which is 3 years, almost exactly after 2 years,
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, he's a 77.
77, 80, 83.
The budget is wild. Okay, there's at least 2 wildly different numbers. So I went with the Wikipedia budget and gross worldwide.
Okay.
So what would you say Wikipedia says the budget is?
Well, I saw one thing in the trivia about the budget.
Was it on IMDb?
Yeah.
What does IMDb's then say?
18 million.
Okay, so Wikipedia has it listed as 33 million.
Interesting.
So I wonder if it doesn't have film and marketing budget.
Yeah, could be. What I saw about the budget was George Lucas was like, I really want to like bankroll this myself, basically. So he was like, I'm not going to get funded by a major motion picture corporation. I want control over it. So he funded a lot of it and took a loan to fill the rest of it.
Yeah.
So he like personally funded most of this movie so that he could still have control over it.
Yeah.
Which was once again a huge, just like the last movie was a huge gamble, and he was like, it's not going to work. So this one, he was like, I'm doubling down on this bet, and it paid off handsomely.
Yeah. Which it did pay off very handsomely according to Wikipedia, which IMDb has a slightly lower number. Wikipedia has it around $550 million.
What's interesting
worldwide.
is that is less than the first movie.
Which I think is because the first one, it includes like re-releases, anniversary editions, all that.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot more special re-releases and re-screenings and all that of Star Wars Episode 1. Because I mean, like the Star Wars, the original Star Wars, New Hope, like they've done, I'm sure there's stuff where like you could probably go through and find where like, oh, well, they did like a celebrity charity screening where each ticket was $1,000.
My understanding too is like that one was in theaters for a long it was so successful, it was in theaters for a really long. It's like a lot of people saw it multiple times, kind of like Avengers 1 versus Avengers 2. Avengers 1 were like everyone saw it 2 or 3 times. It was a huge success. Then Avengers 2 came out, they were like, it made almost as much money, and Disney was like, well, this was a failure. It's like, well, not every movie can make exponentially more money than the movie before, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can start the phenomenon, but it's not necessarily gonna. Which I wonder how Avatar 2 is going to be in that respect. It's been so long, but do you think Avatar 2 will live up to Avatar 1's?
I think
payout?
2 will. I think if 2's not very good, here's what I think. If they focus on making the story good enough, but focus on the visuals looking real good, because that's what Avatar was sold on.
Yeah.
Was how good it looked.
Yeah. It was like the first 3D movie to like blow people's minds and like change the game.
So I think they'll look good. And I think since they're doing so many all at the same time, as long as they maintain a certain level,
right,
they'll be successful.
It's hard too, because it's like,
I think
it changed the game. It made 3D like a real thing in the movies, and then everything was 3D for a few years. But now you think about it, not that much stuff is in 3D nowadays.
Yeah. But I'd be willing to bet it's going to be in 3D, and it's going to be like the kind of movie you have to see it in 3D.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't even be surprised if it's like, you know, like the theaters around here that have either the side screens or the extra effects and stuff. Yeah. Like they're probably going to put effort into those to make, because those are the most expensive ways to see the movie.
Right.
And I'd be willing to bet that those will be invested in. So this is number 15 on IMDb's top rated movies all time. Previous one was 25. This one is 15. It won 2 Oscars for Best Sound and a Special Achievement Award for Visual Effects. So again, one that is now, I think, a full Oscar, but at that time wasn't really a full Oscar. And 2 nominations for Best Art Direction and Set Direction, which it lost to Tess, which is a Roman Polanski film.
Oh.
It swept the Oscars that year. So confirmed Hollywood are pedophiles and we hate them.
What movie is this?
You can't even look it up anymore, Cody, because of Roman Polanski. Also, it was nominated for Best Music Original Score, which it lost to Fame.
Oh.
It won a total of 25 awards and got 20 nominations.
Oh, this is a very problematic movie.
Is it
I mean, Roman Polanski makes some salacious films. This one is like, oh, all right. No, it gets...
Is it real bad?
Her alcoholic father sends her away to apply for a job with relatives. She's taken in, seduced by her cousin, becomes pregnant. Oh, gosh. I don't even... Yeah, no. It's
And it's that movie,
it is salacious.
that movie you just described,
Yeah.
swept the Oscars. It won, or at least was nominated for every single Oscar.
Roman. All right. Well, here's my problem with this movie that we watched.
Give it to me.
Empire Strikes
Tell me.
Back. Luke Skywalker. Look, you went all the way to Dagobah at the
Dagobah.
at the request of old Ben Kenobi.
Oh, you mean
the man,
Obi-Wan
the man
Kenobi?
you revere, the man who died.
Yeah.
You know, in the last movie, to be trained by Yoda. You find Yoda and you're like, I'll kind of listen to what you say. You know, like he shows up and he's like, all right, when you're telling me to swing across vines and have you on my back and do headstands, fine. I will do that. But when you ask me not to take weapons into the scary forestry, when you ask me not to go pursue my friends that are in danger, I won't do any of that stuff. It's just like, well, Luke, are you going to listen to this dude or not? Like, do your training. Go do one thing. Finish what you started.
I would say objectively, Anakin was the better Jedi and the more obedient Padawan.
Yeah. Yeah.
By far. Because Anakin would be like, I don't want to, but I'll do it because I believe that you do know what you're talking about, Obi-Wan.
Yeah. But the moment I'm alone with Natalie Portman, I will vent about it.
Yeah.
Whereas Luke is just like, nah. Pass.
Like, you're stupid, Yoda. You don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, you think you're some kind of Jedi master? Then he says, no, I'm the Grand Master.
Yeah. So that's my problem with this movie. You know, Luke was super whiny last. He's still a little whiny in this movie. When Yoda calls him out on it, he's like, look, you're angry, you're anxious. You gotta have a strong, calm mind, and you gotta sit here and do your training if you're gonna do it. And then, of course, I don't know. It's just like, prove him wrong, you know, Luke? Be better.
Luke's dumb.
Better.
He's dumb. He's the worst.
Look, here's what I will say. The Dagobah scenes were hard to shoot, you know?
Yeah.
So here's what Frank Oz did.
Tell me.
To help Mark Hamill. He brought Miss Piggy on set and did Miss Piggy antics to help cheer him up. And I'm upset that's not in this cut. Canonically, I want the Muppets to be in the Star Wars universe. I want Miss Piggy to be like in the kitchen and she's like, you didn't like my cooking, you know, to throw stuff at Luke. I don't know. I want some antics. I want it to be like, oh yeah, Yoda and Miss Piggy, they're a thing. They're not married or anything, but they're like, you know, hooking up, cohabitating, swinging.
Miss Piggy and Kermit are on a break and she's moved in with her special friend, Yoda.
Yeah.
Is there a Star Wars?
What is Yoda but a silver fox, Kermit the Frog? You know?
Exactly. Is there a Muppet Star Wars?
I don't know. I know the Muppet Show has pigs in space as like a recurring sketch. No, I mean, there's no like Star Wars parody Muppet movie. I know
it feels like very low hanging fruit, you know? I mean, because you just can do what Family Guy did, which is just do Star Wars. And the funny thing is that it's Muppets.
Yeah.
You don't even really need to make jokes. And then you get to the lightsaber duel and then just have them like smacking each other with sticks.
Oh, man. Yoda wailing on R2-D2 with this can. So good.
Mine.
It's so good.
Yoda's even insane in the prequels, though. Like, he has gone crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's alone. He's by himself. His only company are the voices in his head, which are Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I get it.
Do you remember when was it you that I read the like the origin of Yoda that I looked up and how he became a Jedi and stuff?
I don't remember.
It's like him and a human friend, like left their home planet to go be like, oh, let's go find our fortune. Crashed on a Dagobah-like planet. And then were found by a giant snake monster who happened to be a Jedi master and then trained them to be Jedi. That's how he became a Jedi.
The Jedi will take anyone who will listen. Like, I know there's the period where it's like, hey, we have a temple. You have to be a young person, a young, impressionable person for us to... I don't know. But it also seems like they're like, oh, you'll listen? Yeah, you're in. I don't know. Maybe it's just like periods like this where it's like, I guess I'll take you. You're like a 20-something-year-old dude.
He says he's too old. He's like, you're too old.
Everybody, maybe that's just something they tell everyone, so they'll want to be in more. It's like, you're too old to be a trainer. It's like, no, I'm not. You know, it's like that reverse psychology thing where it's like, only big boys eat their vegetables. He's like, I am a big boy. And then they'll eat, you know? Maybe that's what it is. It's a Jedi mind trick.
That's what he does to him, too. He's like, it's dinner time for the Jedi, too. And then Luke's like, fine, I'll eat my food then.
Yeah.
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, Emperor Palpatine's big in this one.
Yeah.
When they project him. And I was like, oh, this is the exact same thing you do with Snoke later on, where you're like, oh, it's a big boy. And you're like, oh, no, he's not really. It's a projection. So, I mean, it gets big. So,
yeah. Him in there is one of the prequel add-ins, like when Lucas went in and added stuff after the prequels were all done.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like because it's Palpatine and it's Palpatine being more consistent.
Yeah.
There is a thing in the third movie, which I won't get into, but I hated it. It's my least favorite edition of all of them. I hate it. You know. Anyway, more about this movie. More about Leia being a hoe.
You covered it. You covered it all. What? Look, Darth Vader's out here. He's still got the dad jokes.
Yeah,
he kills a man. He's like, apology accepted. Like, yeah, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand about Vader. Like, yeah, is he a tyrant? Maybe, but he's having a good time doing it. And that's what really counts.
Yeah.
Why be a supreme leader of the universe and conqueror if you can't have a few laughs along the way?
Yeah.
That's what really matters. Not the planets you conquer, the laughs you share.
You know, that's the thing. You know, later in the movies, you know, in the sequel trilogy, you got Snoke. It's like, oh, it's Snoke. Snoke's like, I'm Supreme Leader Snoke. Palpatine and Vader, it's like, I am Emperor Palpatine, and this is Lord Vader.
Mm-hmm.
It really just feels like Snoke is like found Palpatine's toys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, is
Snoke's
it like
I can do it too.
Is it like a Putin situation where it's like, you know what I'm saying? He kind of inherited the communist regime. Now they're not communists anymore, but he's like, but I'll still wheel and deal and be a sneaky little sneak.
It'd be like if somebody threw Putin down a shaft,
mm-hmm.
and then they stuck like a blonde 12-year-old on the throne of what does he sit in? He sits in it. You know he has a throne somewhere.
Yeah, he does.
I saw a TikTok that Putin made.
What?
He has a TikTok account,
no,
and they are good. And I was
right, I'm downloading TikTok again. I got to get on this Putin TikTok account.
And it was okay. Did you see? It was a trend where it was like where you tried to make it look like a picture, but it's a video.
Oh, maybe.
So he did it where he's pouring. They used saran wrap to make it look like he's pouring water into a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "Hi, it's me." And he's like, got this smile on his face. He's like, "Nailed it!" I'm like, Putin, you are such an evil dude, but you're just so wholesome at the same time.
Between like Trump and Putin and Kim Jong-un, we're like a golden age of like kind of silly but also dangerous world leaders. So you're like, wait,
like Putin could snap your neck like a dried twig.
Yeah.
But he will make a TikTok and be so proud of himself for doing it.
Gosh. What a time. What a time we live in. Like it makes you think like, you know what, Putin? You could have just not run Russia and just been TikTok famous and like been happy in life, you know?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think he's probably pretty happy. I think he's very happy with himself.
What did they say? They talked about how, okay, this boy is our last hope, you know?
Yeah.
To get him on our side. And then Vader's like, there's another.
No, Vader doesn't say it.
Or
Yoda says it.
No. They're talking about, no, you're right. Is that Yoda and
Yoda and
Old Ben?
Old Ben.
Who's the other? Is it Leia? Is it someone else?
Yeah.
It's Leia?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
That's spoilers though, Cody, for the next movie.
Oh, all right, that's fine.
You fool.
Here's the thing. Vader's plan to preserve Luke, to take him to the Emperor, who is somewhere.
Yeah.
But also there's hyperspeed, so no one's that far. He's like, we gotta freeze him. Why? Why you gotta freeze him to keep him pristine? Aren't you trying to convince him to join you, and then wouldn't he just come with you? Isn't that the ideal scenario?
No, the ideal scenario is to freeze him and then get him to the Emperor, who can mind control him into serving them.
Oh, all right. That's fine then.
That's the Emperor's thing.
Okay. You talked about this movie and you like A New Hope better. I like this one a little better. And here's why I think this movie is better. I think like the scene where Han Solo gets frozen in carbonite.
Yeah.
I think for me that's sort of like the peak of Star Wars as far as like having strong emotional resonance. Like there's great music. The set and the lighting is really great for like the mood. I think the performances are really good. Like when she's like, I love you. And he says, I know. And it's just so classic.
Oh yeah.
I think that is like peak Star Wars. Like for me, that was resonating with me emotionally. I was like, oh, this is what everything Star Wars could be.
Yeah.
And if you took 3PO out of that, it would have been perfect. You know, it's like, you know, starting 3PO giving his little color. That's like the worst part. It's like, are they going to get away? Like, oh, I'm so worried about Han. And then 3PO is like, I never doubted you, R2. It's like, 3PO, shut up. You were ruining the whole vibe of this. You need to get out of these movies. I need a cut of these movies with no 3PO, please.
He's the best.
He's awful. He's so bad. And everyone knows it. Everyone's rolling their eyes, shutting him off, roasting him to his face. He doesn't get it because he doesn't understand humans, which once again is his only function. So
again, it was built by a 9-year-old with spare parts on Tatooine.
Yeah. So anyway, I love the lighting in that scene, for the saber fight, for the carbonite scene. It's like the sun is setting. You're worried about the state of the heroes and the rebellion, and it all works. It's great. Which brings me to my next point. This director, I know that Lucas wanted Steven Spielberg to direct one of these, and the Directors Guild was like, stop messing around with the credits and we'll let you. And he said, no, I don't want to stop messing around with the credits. And they're like, fine, you can't have Spielberg. He's in the guild. We control the guild. You can't have it. George Lucas, I also read somewhere, dropped out of the Writers Guild of America to maintain more control. He was like, all right, he's an Hollywood outsider. He is independently wealthy of Hollywood. He could still he's an enigma. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, this director's name's like, what is it? Irvin Nowarsky, something.
Yeah,
here's what I learned about him. This is his only good movie. He's got like 20 director's credits, and he has the most specific niche I've ever heard in Hollywood. Are you ready for it?
Give it to me.
It is to direct sequels to classic movies. Here's what he's directed. Are you ready?
All right.
In the 80s, he directed these 3 films. Don't look it up. Look at me. Look at me.
At you.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Never Say Never Again.
Oh, okay.
The James Bond shoot-off one with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
The 10 years later one.
The one that's bad?
Yeah. And RoboCop 2.
Oh.
Like the worst, like the not good. He might as well also have made like Terminator 4 and, like this is his one good movie. They always bring him in on the sequels to movies that no one wants to follow up. And he delivered on this one. And I'm proud of him. And that's like his only movie that is above like a 65 on Metascore is this movie.
But he nailed it.
He nailed this one.
But did he nail it because George Lucas was also super involved?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Did they offset each other?
I think that's probably what happened. So it really did kind of blow my mind that this was his only like really great film. So, yeah, I don't know. I really liked this one. The pacing's a little weird on this one as well, but I don't know. I liked the saber fight, the weak points. I think Mark Hamill's still coming into his own as an actor. I don't like super buy his, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though. I think in this one, he does look like Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
He is a famous actor now, and he is beautiful because of it.
That's true.
Even though probably made like, you ever look at how much they were paid for these movies and you're like, it's like you're paid $7,000.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you could see the actors who were like old and knew what they were doing versus like Mark Hamill and all them who are like, I don't know, I'm just happy to be in a movie.
Yeah.
And then there's like Sir Alec Guinness.
It is. Yeah.
He's like, give me 2% of all the profits.
Alec Guinness. Yeah, he had a percentage of profits, but it ended up being millions of dollars for him.
95
He worked.
million.
Guess how many days he worked on this film?
2.
One. Well, half a day. He showed up at like 7:30 a.m. He was done by 1 p.m. That was his performance for this movie. He had something going on or a surgery happening or not. Anyway, he had some conflict. He was like, all right, I'll show up for a day. And they got all the stuff done and he left.
Okay, I'll tell you, I found in when I was trying to find fun facts for the film, I found ones just for like the series in general. And it was in an interview for like one of the re-releases with, it was Harrison Ford. And he was saying that him and Mark Hamill would like mess around and be goofballs all the time. Like they would be completely unprofessional, except for when Alec Guinness is on set. And then they were like, we need to tone it down.
Yeah.
And they were perfectly professional. It's super on like focused and everything.
Yeah.
Like he, just by his presence, just like forced them to be professional.
Isn't that interesting how it goes?
And it's just really funny. He's like, we wanted to impress him.
Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of actors say that story too. Like they end up in a scene with like Leonardo DiCaprio or Robert De Niro, and they're like, all right, okay, I'm gonna do a real good job. I'm not gonna mess around at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that goes. The director, here's why I think the director did nail this movie. Just an example, a parable, if you will. An example, really.
Give it to me.
Mark Hamill, he's in Yoda's little hovel, his little hole, little tunnel house, little hobbit hole. Mark Hamill hits his head. The director had him do that 16 times until he got the take he liked. So he was in it. He was all in. He was trying to get perfection out of it. So good for him. George Lucas loved Frank Oz's performance, which, by the way, originally it was Jim. He wanted Jim Henson to do it. Henson was like, "Hey, I'm directing this thing called The Great Muppet Caper. Don't have time. Frank Oz would love to do it. He'd be great for it." So Frank Oz came on. George Lucas was like, "Oh, he was so good. We need to like petition this guy to get an Oscar." So he like spent a bunch of money to like an Oscar campaign for Frank Oz, and the motion picture, the what's it called? Hollywood Foreign Press, whoever it is. They were like, yeah, no, nah, he's not an actor, he's a puppet. Like it was like a Smeagol situation where they're like, yeah, no, it's not a real performance, he's not a real actor. So he's like, no, and George Lucas was like super upset, and then Frank Oz was like, I don't care. That's what the trivia said. He was like, I was like, I don't care. So I just thought that was interesting. Carrie Fisher spent a lot of this movie standing on a box. She is 5'1". And Harrison Ford is 6 feet tall. So, so they were like, all right, we gotta work this out somehow. So I thought that was funny.
Did it look in your notes here? I wonder if you found something on this. Did they use the force perspective for the Slave One loading Han into that? Because it looked like they had like in the distance like a ramp that they were walking up, and then in the foreground they put.
I didn't see anything about that, but I only got so far down the trivia.
It kind of looked like that, and that's what I was wondering if...
I did see something about the effects in this movie. He really wanted to push the effects team. He's like, well, it's easy to make good effects if it's in space because there's just a black backdrop. So we should go to an ice planet covered in white snow. So you'd really have to have good effects and like not make any mistakes like that, which is such a dumb reason to go to Hoth, but... Lucas, he's a madman. All right. He doesn't operate within the confines of Hollywood. Okay. He's independently wealthy and he has ideas. Okay.
Can I tell you a story? You say the independently wealthy. This is a complete offshoot random tangent. I want to tell you this. Yeah. I had somebody when I worked at Best Buy introduce themselves to me as someone who was independently wealthy. He was like, I want this kind of TV. It's the kind of TV you still can't buy it. I don't know. It was like a small TV that was also a projection TV. I don't know. It's the kind of TV that did not take off, and it was not successful, and it was not good. And he gave me a big speech about how he couldn't believe we don't carry it, and I guess he's just gonna have to go spend his money somewhere else. And I was like, dude, every kind of TV. It's Best Buy.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I straight up told, I was like, go to a theater store. I don't know what you're wanting right now.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
It's
it.
like, look, man, if we had it, we would sell it to you.
Yeah.
And it's not even like you're you're a big box chain who carries a certain catalog. And if it's not there,
yeah.
I don't care how independently wealthy you are. You're not going to convince Best Buy to buy an obsolete, not popular TV, right?
Right. Because I don't, yeah.
I want to be independently wealthy and like show up to Five Guys and be like, excuse me, I would like a 3-piece chicken strip meal. I would like a chicken basket. Like, I am independently wealthy and I don't care that you make burgers and fries. Get me some fried chicken, please.
It's also like, the guy had the thing. He's like, it's like a $20,000 TV. And I told him, I was like, we're not going to have that.
Yeah.
We're just not. We sell to people who have to like finance a $500 TV.
Yeah. Wow.
I also just, now every time I look at my TV, I want to be like, I think to myself, that guy probably got that TV and this TV is better.
Yeah.
So suck it, independently wealthy douche.
Man. What I wouldn't give to be independently wealthy and absolutely delusional.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
a better
the guy
life.
because I have people there knew him. He was a millionaire and did come in and spend a ton of money all the time. But you know who also would do that? The guy that owned like the car dealership, who every like 6 months would be like, all right, all the TVs look like garbage now. So give me 80 TVs right now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
That's the real flex purchase is new TVs every 6 months.
Yeah.
Man.
Someone's like, you should just, put them in store mode. I don't know. Do something. You're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark Hamill. Look, I give him some guff, and I think he recognizes it too. He's like, I was a brand new actor. I was not that great. He's come into his own. He's a wonderful voice actor. Good for him. Mark Hamill's great.
Yes.
Shout out to him though. He did all his own stunts except for one. The only stunt he didn't do is when Luke gets sucked out of the window. He's like, he did not do that one. But he did, when he was doing stunts on Hoth, broke his thumb. So he went hard. He did the work. He got some muscles by the end, and I respect him for that.
Did you look into the getting sucked out thing more?
No.
Because I can't remember if he, at some point, because what I think happened, right, was he wanted to do it, and the stunt team was like, no. Because someone is going to get sucked through a broken window with glass around them onto a thing that will have broken glass on it.
Yeah.
No, you as the actor cannot get sucked out of a glass window onto glass.
Yeah.
Or I can't remember if they were the final ones that had to tell him no, or if he like saw them testing it and he was like, F that.
Yeah.
Because I do know it wasn't like a normal one where they like kind of slowly pull you. It was one where it was like where they got you like on a bungee cord fully at tension and then rip you out of the room.
Yeah.
Like you get whiplash and you can really only do it like once a year. And that was the kind of stunt it was. I just remember it being a whole thing of him, I think, wanting to do it and then it being decided probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea to have not a stunt guy.
Speaking of his stunts, when the only stunt I thought all the stunts looked really good in this movie. The only one that didn't is when Darth Vader shoves him into the, he pushes him back into the carbonizer.
Yeah.
But then Luke jumps out. Except it was like they rocket shot him out is what it looks like. We're like, well, that wasn't a dude. It was like a blur. It was like the Flash. Like I was like, that didn't look great. Like,
which it was, I mean, it's like the force jump that they always do, which there's.
Oh, it's like the one from Phantom Menace where they like, no,
that's Force Run.
The Force Run. That's what it looked like to me. We're like, they just zapped on out of there somehow.
Yeah. So that's what it is, where it's supposed to be like a Jedi Force jump.
Yeah.
Because he jumped like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So
the only other fact I've got
give it to me. Tell me.
Is that part of the reason they carbonized Han?
Yes.
Harrison Ford signed on a 2-movie contract. And he was kind of like, hey, George, I think I want to be written off. I don't think I'm coming back for another one. Luke and Leia, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill had a 3-movie contract. So they were definitely going on for the final one. And so it was partly insurance, partly because they just weren't sure, like, okay, is he coming back for last movie? And I think George Lucas was like, no, I have a really good role for Han in the next movie. I want you to do it. So he ends up doing it, but that was part of the reason they carbonized him. They're like, all right, he'll be a hero. And if we don't have to bring him back, we don't have to bring him back. So I thought that was really interesting way, which I mean, it's a better way of doing it than being like, oh crap, that actor's not back. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Plus I did think, I mean, it's set up like the cool from the Mandalorian show, you know, where he has like the little carbonite station. So he like tricks people into his ship and then freezes them for, get his bounties, so that kind of indicates that was like an established bounty hunter technique at the time.
Well, yeah, because it was a new thing then.
Yeah.
Because they were like, I don't know if this dude will survive that. And they're like, we'll just test it on out on Han.
Yeah. Which I felt like even there, like, it's like, oh, people can do that. This is something they do. It's more like this. It'd be like doing surgery in a vet clinic. You know, it's like, you got the stuff we need, but you do surgery on like dogs where it's like, if you can come out and be like, your dog didn't make it. Sorry.
Yeah.
We tossed him in the furnace. Here's some ashes that are probably his. They might just be from from wood.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
That's kind of the vibe I got, right? Where it's like,
for sure.
It'll probably work.
I don't know. I mean, okay. Is there anything we missed? You didn't get off your chest.
I'm sure we missed so much, I'll tell you one thing, that worm's mouth was fully closed before they cut away from it.
Yeah.
And it bothers me every time.
How did they accidentally land in a worm cave?
Like
in a worm's mouth.
Eats?
Also,
what was the worm's plan? Does it eat the ships? What does it eat, Cody?
I think it's like a whale. You know how a whale, some of them, they just open their mouths, they get some krill in there, they close their mouths, the water goes out, the krill go down, bang, bang, boom. We've all seen Finding Nemo. I think it's like that. It's like, let me open my mouth. Whatever gets in here, I've got a digestive system of like a honey badger, Yeah. I will, or a Tasmanian devil. It's like, I will just absorb whatever I need and get rid of everything. I think it's one of those.
Did I tell you about the guy that got eaten by a whale?
Are we talking about Bible times now? Is that what we're doing? Look, I've read the story of, if you're asking me if I've seen the VeggieTales movie about Jonah, the answer is yes, I have.
No.
I'll sing you the song right now.
It's the guy that dives with whales.
Oh.
And he's down with the whales.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm back. A sperm whale? I don't know. A whale. A large whale.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what's up? Huh? And then everybody else is like, oh my gosh, he got eaten by the whale. And he's like, I think the whale thought I was drowning because it scooped me up, swam immediately to the surface, and then spat me out. And then left.
And that man was Andrew Stanton, director of Finding Nemo. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
That man was Jonah, the prophet from the Old Testament. Is it like a Kon-Tiki scenario where he was like, you know what? I do believe that Jonah was a literal story from the Bible. I'm going to prove it. Is that what happened?
No.
It's either that or he's the Finding Nemo. There's no third option.
He's just scratching the whale. And then the whale's like, you're drowning.
I've seen some really cool footage of whatever kind of whale it is. It might not be a whale, but it's similar to a whale. It's like a giant fish and it slurps in fish.
This whale shark?
Whale shark, I see. Yeah. And it's real. I've seen the videos of the divers with them. Yeah. And you can go, like, just as a dude, you can pay to go dive with them. And you have a handful of fish and you hold it out and you let go and they suck in the fish.
Yeah.
So cool. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Yeah. Here's what I want. Since we're talking about it, Cody, I want to petition Hollywood to stop slow-moing the fish. All right. Here's why. I was watching a documentary recently on fish where it was dolphins. So not fish, mammals, but fish-like mammals.
Yes. Sea critters.
Where you know how they're always like, oh, and the dolphins hear the bait ball in the distance of the fish, and then they leave, and then they're like slow-mo leaving, swimming away. They didn't slow-mo it. Dolphins are fast, people.
Oh, yeah.
They are so much. They rock it. I was like, they sped it up. There's no way that's how fast those dolphins are.
It's like Mark Hamill out of the tube.
Because it is like the dolphins hear something and they're like gone. They're out of sight. They are so far away that it is just blue nothingness now.
I mean,
I'm like, what the? Yeah. I am terrified of dolphins now. I was not prepared.
Yeah.
If a dolphin decides it's gonna kill you in the ocean, it's gonna kill you and be gone.
Have you seen any like the
anybody.
dolphin shows, like a SeaWorld or anything?
Yes.
They get across their. I went whale watching, and we had a pod of dolphins just swimming. They love to swim along the boats and see the people and stuff.
Yeah.
And our boat was going like a good 30, 35, 40 knots. And the dolphins, they weren't like struggling to keep up. They were like, we got this. Like, hey, how's it going? We're hanging out. We'll also hop up and out in the water. We get,
They're so fast.
They're majestic creatures. Dolphins, they're smart, okay? They can flirt. Did you know that? Did you know species of dolphins will flirt to like try to win a mate over?
Yeah.
They play.
They do it.
They flirt.
They rape
sing.
humans.
Right.
Yes.
They're the most majestic sea critters. Star Wars.
Star Wars. So about Star Wars.
Where would you rank this one?
This one?
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say the top 3 Star Wars movies we've seen: A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One. Can we all agree with that? But what order is my question?
I'll put this one at the top. I'll
what?
do it.
No, you said at the beginning.
Because
A New Hope.
This one looks better than A New Hope. I think A New Hope was designed to be a standalone movie, so it works better as an individual movie.
Yeah.
But that's because George Lucas had zero faith in it getting a sequel.
Right.
But like this one looks better. The actors are better. They're more comfortable in the role. Everything's more established. So, and it doesn't have as much terrible CG. Like Cloud City is the only and it's not as bad. It just looks like it's in a bad stop mode or like a bad, what is it? The live action video games where it's got like the live action cutscenes. That's what it looks like it's from.
Yeah.
So I put this one, then Rogue One, then New Hope.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I mean, I think that's where I'd put him too. I think this one is the most complete in terms of like, it has that emotional resonance I talked about. Everything looks pretty cohesive. Like you said, the actors are coming into their own. I think they really nail the music in this one.
Yeah.
And
they got the Imperial March.
Together. Yeah.
Darth Vader's theme song started.
Yeah. I love that John Williams has those. Characters have their themes and they come in and come out. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. It's so part of the reason those movies, the music is so good is like, oh yeah, there's themes for the elves, there's themes for man, there's themes for Rohan, for each character and their struggles, and it's a beautiful way to help tell a story.
I tell you though, John, he did way too much with some of the scenes. I was like, you just like threw a crackler bomb into the middle of a.
There was one I noticed. It was like there for no reason at all. There was like a xylophone making like someone coming down a ladder noise, like ding 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 ding. I was like, wait, what are we doing here? There's just we've gone too far.
A lot of it, they're like talking about how like, oh, we layered it, and this time it's like you added 15 too many layers to almost everything. Yeah. It's just chill,
doing the most.
Just chill out.
So good. It was a good one. It's the one, it's the one we've been building to, and I'm very curious to see how the next 4 go from here. Yeah. There may be some highs, there may be some lows, but what I do know is there will be stars and there will be wars.
Yeah. And space wizards.
Oh, the space wizards. But no one quite as kooky as Empire Strikes Back Yoda.
Oh, no one will ever. Oh, there's never going to be a more perfect, like, grandmaster wizard.
He is the wild card.
He is the grand wizard.
He's the wild card and also the sage the wisest of the wise. And I love that it's the same dude. He's insane. He's a loose cannon. And also he's like, you got to grow up, Luke. You're like, wait, you were a freewheeling madman who's on shrooms right now.
That was a test. Also, yes, he was high and then it wore off and then he chilled out.
Good. Oh, I love Yoda in this movie.
So good.
Oh, man. Thank you for listening. You can share us and review us wherever you like to share and review podcasts.
Remember, everybody, we need the reviews on iTunes to get onto the Rotten Tomatoes.
Look, if you want us to be influencing for the better our review system, then you need to get with us, partner with us, do this.
And
for
since we're
us.
trying to get onto you get what grade? What grade?
This one's an A for me.
It's an A. I'd
It's an
say
A.
an A.
It's an A. Not quite perfect, but it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's excellent.
So good.
Oh man. You can reach out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm posting memes. We're posting memes. They're delightful.
Memes.
Like them, share them. Thanks for listening. Oh,
we're bringing memes back.
we are bringing memes back. Thanks for listening. Until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions. Leah?
No,
Leah's a hoe.
I heard someone in the movie starts to say Leah, then they stop themselves, and then they're just like, whatever. They just like give up. It's so good.